Hello everyone, this is the Coin Flipper coming at you with another Pokemon TCG Online video. Today I'm going to be showcasing the Aromatisse Big Basics deck, which has been one of my favorite decks this format. This deck's going to revolve around Aromatisse with its Fairy Transfer ability, which is going to let us move around Fairy Energy from one Pokemon to another. Now instead of running Fairy Energy, just basic Fairy Energy, we're going to be running 4 Prism and 4 Rainbow Energy, so we can switch between different attackers in this deck really easily. So after our 2-2 line of Aromatisse, we're going to be running 2 Thunderous EX with Ride and Knuckle, attaching energy from your discard pile to one of your Adventure Team Plasma Pokemon. It's going to be our main source of energy acceleration in this deck. And it's going to be working well with Genesect EX, another Team Plasma Pokemon, which has Red Signal. You may attach a Plasma Energy from your hand to this Pokemon. When you attach a Plasma Energy from your hand to this Pokemon, you may switch one of your opponent's bench Pokemon with his or her active Pokemon, work as a Pokemon catcher. Very useful for aggressive plays. In addition, it has Megalo Cannon, 100 damage, plus 20 to one of the bench Pokemon. And since we are running Genesect EX, we're going to be running G-Booster. Very useful Ace Spec, 200 damage, gets an OHKO on almost any Pokemon EX, excluding Mega Evolutions like Mega Charizard, but we don't see those that often anyway. Plus it shoots through the ever so annoying Pyroar with its intimidating main ability because its damage isn't affected by effects on defending Pokemon. Now moving on to other attackers, we have Landorus EX with Hammerhead. It's going to do 30 damage to the active plus 30 damage to one of the bench Pokemon, which is going to be very useful against threats like Raichu. Raichu is going to die if it has a Muscle Band. It's going to be doing exactly 100 damage, and Raichu has 90 HP. So it'll get a clean knockout there, and it's very useful against stuff like Darkrai EX and Thunderous EX, as they're both weak to fighting. So you can do 100 damage solid with Hammerhead. Plus, if you use Land Judgment, 80 plus a Muscle Band is going to be 200 for stuff that's weak to fighting. So you'll be able to knock out Darkrai EX and Thunderous EX with Land Judgment without discarding any energy. Next, we have Yveltal EX with Evil Ball, probably the most broken attack this format. Absolutely ridiculous. 20 damage plus 20 more damage for each energy attached to both active Pokemon. So it's just Mewtwo EX plus 20 more damage. And then you have the Muscle Band, which just puts on 20 more damage. Just an insane amount of damage. Adds up really quickly. Now those are like pretty much the staple attackers in this deck. The rest of the Pokemon are going to be a little tech choices. So not everyone's going to be running these cards. And I forgot to mention we are going to be running 4 Plasma Energy for the Red Signal ability on Genesect. So my first tech card is going to be Virizion EX with Verdant Wind. Each of your Pokemon that has Grass Energy attached to it can't be affected by special conditions. So this is going to be very useful against decks like Plasma and Yveltal Garbodor, which are going to be running Hypnotoxic Laser and Burbank City Gym. So you'll be able to prevent that poison damage and sleep. And it's also very, very useful against decks like Trevenant Excelgor and the Flygon Excelgor Dusknoir deck, because you can prevent the paralysis from Excelgor, so they really can't get any kind of lock going on you. Now it's only going to work if you have the Grass Energy attached, obviously, but the Prism and Rainbow Energies are going to be acting as Grass Energy, so that's what makes the Verdant Wind ability work in this deck. Next we have Cobalion EX with Steel Bullets. It's going to be our main attack. It's going to be able to run over Pyroar with a Muscle Band. A lot of people run Giratina EX with Shred. However, I think Cobalion EX is more useful, as he can actually do stuff when you lead with him with his Righteous Edge attack, which is going to be useful against decks like Team Plasma. So if they lead with a Plasma Kyurem and you lead with the Cobalion EX, I mean, you're going to be able to do, and a Muscle Band, you're going to be able to do 100 damage to the Kyurem, plus discarding a special energy, so that's really going to slow him down. And it's just overall much better than Giratina, because Giratina you just have to sit there on it and it really doesn't do anything. And finally, for consistency, we have Jirachi EX. Stellar Guidance lets you search for a supporter card, so that you're not just sitting there doing absolutely nothing while your opponent runs over you. So for our trainers, we have 2 Level Ball, which is going to help us search for cards like Spritzy, Aromatisse, and Jirachi. And then our other search card is going to be Ultra Ball, which we'll run 3 of. And this is going to help us search for our other cards like Virizion EX, Genesect, Thunderous, Yveltal, and Landorus, which we'll need in different situations of the game. Next we have 4 Max Potion, which we'll be able to really abuse in this deck since we can move the energy away from the active Pokemon, heal off all the damage, and then just move the energy right back so you don't actually lose any energy like you normally would when you play a Max Potion. And finally, we're going to run 3 Startling Megaphone, which is going to be very useful against decks like Yveltal Garbodor, which really just absolutely run over this deck. Garbodor has the ability Garbotoxin, which will negate all the abilities on our field, like Fairy Transfer, Red Signal, Verdant Wind. There's a lot of Stellar Guidance. So there's a lot of abilities in this deck that Garbodor just absolutely shuts down this deck. So we need to run 3 Startling Megaphone so that we can actually do something against those decks. And then of course we have the 3 Muscle Band, which is going to help power up our Pokemon as mentioned before, and then the 3 Fairy Garden, and then the G Booster. Finally, for our supporter line, we have 4 N. N's basically a staple. Almost everybody runs 4 N in their decks. Then we have 3 Skyla, which is going to help us search out for our very powerful trainer cards like Max Potion, G Booster, Muscle Band, Megaphone. Very powerful cards there. We only run 2 Professor Juniper because we don't like to discard cards that much in this deck, because you have very important resources like Aromatisse and G Booster, and sometimes you really don't want to discard those with Juniper, so it's really more of a situational card. Since this deck is almost always going to have a full bench, we're going to run 4 Colress. It's going to be very consistent. A lot of times other decks are going to be playing with a full bench too. Go that Colress for 10, super useful. And finally we have 1 Lysander. Switch one of your opponent's bench Pokemon with one of his active Pokemon. Very aggressive card. Lets you get that clutch knockout so you can go for game. So now we're going to jump right into a game with this deck and see if we can actually win. Let's see here. I guess I forgot to save this deck when I edited it. It's pretty interesting. So yeah, we're just going to jump into a match here. See, I've been playing this deck basically the whole format, so hopefully I can win with it. I don't know. Okay. So hopefully my opponent picks to go first, because this deck is a lot better going second, especially if you lead with cards like Thundurus EX and Landorus EX, or Cobalion EX, as they only need 1 energy to attack. So it looks like he is going to be going first, and I did lead with Thundurus, very nice. However, we do have 2 Colress, which is going to be kind of a rough time, because we don't really have a good supporter. And it looks like we're going to be facing a Miltank deck, which is probably either going to be a Greninja based deck or an Empoleon based deck. Probably be Empoleon, but I guess we'll find out right now, depending on what he searches for with Ultra Ball. Of course, Miltank has powerful friends. You have stage 2 Pokemon on your bench that does 70 more damage in addition to 10. So that's going to be adding up to a ton of damage, 80 damage for just 1 energy, plus a Muscle Band or a Silver Bangle, 100 damage or 110 damage. And he does search for the Froakie with the Ultra Ball, so I think it's going to be a Greninja deck. And he does play the N, so now we get some more options here, even though we still didn't get a good supporter. So right now I have kind of a rough decision to make. I could Colress for 4, I could bench more Pokemon and Colress for more cards, but I don't think I'm going to be needing Cobalion this whole game, and I'm definitely not going to need Yveltal EX this whole game. So I think I'm just going to play Juniper, because he's only going to be playing 1 energy on each of his Pokemon, so you might as well just go for the safest play. So we do get that 1 energy for the Ride and Knuckle, though we don't have another energy to discard, so this is going to be kind of a slow start, but we will just go for that Ride and Knuckle. The good thing is we did get the Spritzy down, so we will be able to play an Aromatisse next turn. Hopefully. He does get the Frogadier in play, so next turn he'll probably get a Greninja down, which will make his powerful friends attack ridiculous. Next turn I really hope I can get in a Landorus and start OHKOing his Pokemon, but we'll see what happens. He doesn't attack with powerful friends, which is bizarre. He could have just attacked for 10 damage. I don't know why he didn't. So I'm going to attach to, let's see here, I have a couple options here. I could attach to Spritzy so that I could just move the energy away and I wouldn't have to do 10 damage to my Genesect, but I really don't think that's worth it. So I'm just going to attach Rainbow to Genesect. Then I'm going to play an N. See what I can pick up here. And I do pick up an Aromatisse, which is awesome, and a Muscle Band, which is even more awesome. See, this is a really good start now. Actually, can I undo that? No, I can't. Alright, so that was kind of a bit of a misplay. So I'm going to Ultra Ball away an Ultra Ball and my Rainbow Energy. And pull out that Landorus EX so we can destroy the other Miltank when he brings it out. And now, since we did discard that Rainbow Energy, we're going to be able to ride a Knuckle for 50 and pull out that Rainbow Energy and attach it to Genesect EX. Now we have 3 energy in play, so we can use basically any attack from any Pokemon in our deck. So we're looking pretty good right now. We just need to get Fairy Garden in play and we'll be able to do a lot of shenanigans. So I wonder how my opponent's going to respond at this point. Hopefully, I mean, if he doesn't put down a Greninja, it's going to be a pretty rough time for him, that's for sure. Puts down a second energy on Miltank. Makes me think he's probably going to retreat, which is interesting because all I need is a Hammerhead with a Muscle Band and I'll be able to KO both of them. So hopefully, let's see if he gets a Greninja into play here. Oh, we see a Sigilyph. Oh, that's going to be rough. Safeguard, since I did discard that Cobalion EX. Now my only answer to Sigilyph is going to be G-Booster from Genesect. So this is going to be interesting now with that Sigilyph. So let's see if we can pull out a Muscle Band. And we do see a Muscle Band and a Fairy Garden, so we will be able to use our Landorus this turn. Since we have like nothing benched, I'm just going to set up another Aromatisse here, just in case one of them gets picked off. And I'm going to put a Muscle Band on the Landorus. I'm going to retreat the Thundurus for free out to Landorus. And we'll be able to pick off both those Miltank before he even gets to do something with them. So it's looking like a very good start for me. Already taken 2 prizes. And he doesn't have a Miltank, and he's going to have to put something valuable up in play. Probably be a Sigilyph. Or the Frogadier. Very interesting. I hope he realizes that the Greninja doesn't hit for weakness. But we'll see if he does know that. Maybe my opponent will do something here. I don't know. Guess he's kind of stumped at this point. It looks like he's not getting very good cards if he's Dowsing Machine. What do you... Oh, I guess he's going to get an N. Okay. So definitely my opponent's not drawing very well right now, which is kind of unfortunate. Fortunate for me, but, you know, it's just how it works. He does get the Greninja into play. So we're probably going to either see him retreat or Miss Slash. I don't think he realized that Miss Slash, the damage isn't affected by weakness. So despite the fact that I am weak to water, it's only going to be doing 50 damage. So that's a shame for him. And he does scoop it up because of that. I guess he really just didn't realize that. So that's a darn shame for my opponent. Kind of a bit of a scrub, frankly. But yeah, so overall it's a pretty good setup. And I'm pretty happy with the performance of that deck. So that's it for the Aromatisse Toolbox deck, and I'll see you guys next time.